Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midweek Express. My, today I'm so excited to be with Mishi on the show. You know, she really comes here, but when she does, it's always amazing and fantastic. Hi, Mishi. Do I even have to say hi? No, I don't. But anyways,
Yes.
The issue that is bothering me right now is, the difference in what we're wearing.
No, ma.
How does it happen that we are in winter and you're wearing this blouse and I'm here wearing this, and it's wool.
I think you're different. You are a gender. But as for me, I really love the winter and it doesn't get to me that much. And honestly speaking, and this year is a little bit, better. Or maybe Mona July and Dopano's wear that extreme weather. But for now, I'm super happy. I mean, no one know maula.
There's don't say it like that. But there's a thing with us, as Zimbabweans, we always have to measure and compare the weather, especially winter. And it's not only me who's saying that. Even Tina agrees. Tina says it's only in Zimbabwe where every winter this year. Why do we do that? Do we really have to compare that?
We have to, in some extent, because it's a Zimbo thing. And you know what? I've been thinking, Unoti this year, maybe 2025, and 2023, maybe it's Chai and Derana. But unenga compare with the previous year. I think maybe during that winter, especially when
I don't think so. Okay.
Yes,
maybe it could be like that.
Exactly. Right? And you know what? Tina came through with a comment, but also Anita was saying, this day is to the Kumanyira weekend. And I understand.
No, we always do, we always have to rush for the weekend because we always look forward to the weekend. This is the only time that you can maybe just rejuvenate, and just pump up again and be excited about it. The whole week is all about work, and work, hey?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? Funny enough, I feel like Mazua these days, they are much more faster.
That's true.
And also, weekend I think Anita, why uchi chaser the weekend instead of it being the one that chases her? You get what I'm saying?
Right, I do understand. But anyway, you know what? This is something that we also do apart from the Guinness World Record. Sometimes we also get to tackle some of the things that happen and we're like, but on this one, there is an 11-year-old Michigan girl vacationing with her family in Florida who found a message in a bottle that had purportedly been thrown into the ocean 8 years earlier in Hawaii. So her name is Hopewell Mish. Resident Josie Law, 11, was on Florida's Anna Maria Island when she spotted the bottle in the surf. So she says, I was just walking and the waves were coming up and it was washing on shore. The wave went like a crash into each other and went back. So then I grabbed it really quickly and showed my mom. The bottle contained a small note reading, "Hello, people who found this. You will be happy that you found this. Why? Because you know me with this number." So, Law's mother, whose name is Paris, sent a text message to the phone number included in the note. She soon received a response from a 21-year-old Hawaii woman who told her she and her brother had thrown the bottle into the ocean of over 8 years earlier. And I said, "You're kidding." That's what she said. The note's author, who did not want to be identified, said she was 13 when she and her brother had the idea. So she says, "Yes, we did this when we were 13 and 8 years old. It was something fun we did because we found a message in a bottle before we had decided to make our own in 2018. So imagine this. You're just there and then you find a bottle with a message and you read it.
You know what? I think it's nice. I've always seen it in the movies. And
yeah, it does happen.
To actually have that experience on your own couch. You know, na kids.
It does,
and I'm so surprised, Kuti, why the author of the note didn't want to be known.
Apparently, the author of the note actually put their phone number there, and they even got to contact them somehow. So I think, it's actually something. Imagine you're there on a beach and then you find a bottle. And we've actually had stories of more than even a decade or 2 decades where someone actually finds something, a bottle, a letter, something like that. And they can even
Yeah.
refer back to the owner or, the author of it.
But you know what? I wish I could do that. There are a lot of concerns, but it's also fun at the end of the day. They were saying, "Kuti, really, was that technically possible?" And funny enough, it is because Florida meteorologist said it is possible, and also because of it took a long time to get there. But you know what?
Okay.
I mean, just think about it. What are the odds, Kuti?
I
you
don't
get
think
it?
I would want that kind of luck.
What luck would you want?
No, the money luck. Maybe finding money in a bottle.
Exactly.
Yes, please. Yes, I would go for that.
You know what? On that note, we don't know what your thoughts are on it, but you can always, share with us on social media. And in another story, a diner at the Stellenbosch-based Beyers-Clover wine bar who said that she had ingested a needle-like object which she claimed was in her hamburger won her damages claim against the establishment after the Western Cape High Court found the restaurant's breach of care was linked to the plaintiff's harm. Maxine Williams blamed the wine bar for ingesting the foreign object, and she claimed more than 750,000 rands in damages against the establishment. And the restaurant, meanwhile, disputed that it was the cause of any danger. The object was allegedly ingested by the plaintiff, which did not come from consumables sold and or prepared by them, they said. Norma, think about it.
Yeah.
You just go out, you want to have that amazing dinner, and you're just having fun, and then over ingest something like that.
Before you even go there, if it was in Zimbabwe and you're at a restaurant or somewhere and you find a bug or you find a cockroach or you find a fly, you would go and get another meal or actually want compensation for it.
Exactly.
Now, imagine finding a needle. This is worse.
It is.
Life-threatening even. So it's really something that was huge, and there was really need for something to be given back to this person, because maybe they could have been harmed by this needle. And how did they even get in there? This shows that at some point they are not even careful about the things that they give to the patrons, the food that they sell and all that.
And you know what? It's negligence, like you said.
Yeah.
But, walking away with almost close to 500,000
Yeah, that was huge.
That was a huge compensation. And I wouldn't have other people, being funny and trying to, whip such ideas in their head. Let me just go to another restaurant and try this out.
That would be wrong.
Exactly.
That would be very wrong.
Exactly. And you know what? Williams then testified that on the evening of October 3rd of 2020, she and her husband had visited their favorite restaurant in the area and each ordered a hamburger and sides. Halfway through her meal, she experienced a sensation of discomfort as though something was lodged in her throat. She immediately tried to get it down but struggled profusely, and she went to the restroom as she started to cough and was in a state of panic. And she noticed some blood in the bathroom basin and she began to cry. She returned to her husband and he took her to the emergency room at Stellenbosch Med Clinic, and the x-rays revealed that a needle-like object was stuck in her throat.
Yeah, such a sad story, honestly. And I do hope that wherever they are and each and every restaurant, and when it comes to the food that they give to the patrons, they have to make sure that everything is safe before they even dish it out. But for now, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with some entertainment. Definitely something that you need to wait for, because we do have something on Sebastian Magaja as well as internationally on Tom Cruise. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still watching the Midweek Express, and now it is now time for us to talk about some entertainment. And this is something that is not expected, especially when it comes to people who are into gospel. You know, gospel people really don't want to be associated with some bad things, bad character. But, well, gospel singer Sebastian Magacha has landed in hot water after being accused of neglecting his 6-year-old daughter, so much so that he reportedly forgot her actual age and publicly celebrated the wrong birthday. The drama began when Magacha took to his WhatsApp status to celebrate what he believed was his daughter's 7th birthday. However, according to the child's mother, the little girl had just turned 6. She says that this mix-up shows just how far removed the singer is from his daughter's life. The child's mother, who was in brief relationship with Magacha back in 2018, has now taken the matter to the Harare Civil Court. She claims Magacha agreed to co-parent when the baby was born, even pledging to contribute to her welfare by paying 100 monthly covering school fees and helping with medical bills. But she says the singer had last reported the child in November 2023, and since then, she's had to carry the entire financial burden on her own. So, you know, I don't know, but it's wrong, you know, like I said at the start, that if you're someone who's into gospel singing or, everybody expects you to be a saint. Everybody expects you not to do things that, that are not okay. Just like in this case. But we need to understand that they're also human.
True. I mean, can we just accept and also learn to separate the artist from the person? Because he is a performing artist, but he's human after all.
That is true.
But I mean, it's your child. It's your responsibility to take care of them.
Yeah.
And then on the birthday issue, in terms of age, I mean, he was close.
Well, okay, fine. You know what we can say right now. This is actually an allegation. Okay. But in the case where. Of course, fathers do forget their children's birthdays a lot.
Sure.
But to an extent of forgetting the age, I think that is something. I mean, maybe you should actually remember the age, even if ukazophesanisa kokuthi ndemswa 16 November, iyare wamswa 18. Of course, it's understandable. Fathers do that sometimes. But
I'll excuse him for this one because I particularly, for one, am a person my age, Ivano, especially my siblings as well. Yes, I do.
Okay, for your siblings, it can happen like that.
I mean, also
I think it can for your siblings, of course, but for your child.
But no, he's just human. He was close. 6 and 7.
Oh, wow. I don't believe you.
Yes.
I do not believe you. But, well, yes, okay, it can happen. But honestly, if this is true, because right now,
it's an allegation.
It is an allegation. But if it is true, I don't think it's something that you can actually do as a father to even forget the age of your daughter or your child. At least, of course, mix up the dates, but the age, no.
Well, that's Norma's view. And for the fathers as well, we'll just remind you, 15 June Father's Day. But still under entertainment, we have another exciting issue as Tom Cruise's jaw-dropping and fiery stunt work in Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, has landed him in the Guinness Book of World Records for most burning parachute jumps by an individual. The actor and producer has undertaken a number of death-defying stunts in the hit action franchise, but he raised the bar again this year by jumping out of a helicopter 16 times while strapped to a parachute that was pre-soaked in fuel and subsequently set on fire. The stunt required him to cut away the charred remnants of the first chute and safely deploy a backup all in mid-air. You know what? Tom doesn't just play action heroes. That's what Craig Glenday said. And I don't know. Adrenaline, rush to actually do that.
You know, this is money. You understand? This is not just money even. This is big money we're talking about. Okay?
Yes.
So, for that, I think you can do anything.
Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Personally, I don't think I can actually get to such an extent. I do
Yes.
not think that I have such energy, or I can. No, I can't. But for him, because he's into action as well. He's a
Yes.
stunt man, so it's something that can be done by him. Just he can do it.
Ooh, you know
It's
what?
Tom Cruise. It's
It is.
expected of him.
I think he doesn't fear anything anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't fear anything anymore. But you know what? I don't know for those who are going to try to pass that, world record, because most of the times with the Guinness Book of World Records, and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. It's like we'll just have to wait and see if someone is going to pass the record.
I honestly, I don't know. But then, yeah, we do wait and see what happens. Because honestly, when it comes to the Guinness World Records, we always talk about this each and every week. We never miss. But I think this one is actually a special case. And it's something that, we can resonate with. And it comes from the heart for all of us, right?
Yes.
But anyway, now, I think we all know about this one. And he's a TikToker. He doesn't even say anything, he just does his thing, and people love him for that. Well, Kabelame, that's his name, the world's most followed TikTok creator, was briefly detained by U.S. immigration authorities on Friday after overstaying his visa, officials confirmed on Saturday. The 25-year-old Senegalese-born Italian citizen was taken into custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Los Angeles, Nevada. In a statement released to AFP, ICE said Immigration and Customs Enforcement detained Serinji Kabelame, who's 25, a citizen of Italy, June 6 at the Harry Reid International Airport. So, according to the agency, Lame entered the U.S. on April 30, 2025 on a non-immigrant visa, but overstayed the terms of his visa. After being detained, Lame was granted voluntary departure, a provision that allows foreign nationals to leave the United States on their own rather than face formal removal proceedings. This is some of the things that come with fame.
Yes.
Because if you're just a nobody, no one will even know that this thing happened to you, that you overstayed your visa and stuff like that. But
Yes.
when you're famous, when everybody knows you, even the slightest mistake that you make,
Yeah.
everyone will know about it.
Yeah. Will. And you know what? In terms of immigration officers in the United States, currently they are on a crackdown.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel like Cappy is also responsible because, you knew your visa is going to, expire, like equal terminology, but he overstayed, so he's
did.
partly responsible for that.
Yeah, he is. But you
Yes.
know what? Now that it's all over, everybody knows, the things that come with fame. But you know what? We're going to take another short break and we'll be back with some sport. Stay there.
Welcome back. You're still watching Midweek Express. The second segment was filled with, exciting, controversial issues, and we are continuing with that as we now focus on sport issues. Now, former Mamelodi Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs star Kama Billiat is facing serious allegations after Standard Bank claimed he vanished with a luxury Range Rover worth 3.5 million rands. The bank wants the vehicle returned following missed payments on a credit agreement. Documents reveal that in 2019, Billiat entered into a deal with Standard Bank to buy the Range Rover, agreeing to pay monthly installments of 37,000 rands over 71 months. The terms clearly stated that the vehicle would remain the bank's property until all payments were settled. When City Press shared this news on X on Sunday, 8th of June 2025, it quickly sparked a wave of reactions. Many questioned Billiard's financial judgment, with some saying it was obvious he would eventually disappear with the car. Others criticized the article for dragging Kaizer Chiefs' name into the controversy, wondering why the football club was mentioned at all. In a related development, Billiard, who now plays for Scotland FC in Zimbabwe's Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, reportedly owes Standard Bank approximately 3,072,000 rands from a separate overdraft credit facility granted in 2020. Although he made his payment in 2023, he was expected to pay between 80,000 and 90,000 rand monthly, but failed to keep up with repayments. Attempts by a Johannesburg High Court sheriff to deliver a summons have been unsuccessful, as Billiard is said to be no longer residing in South Africa. Noma. Nazachi.
Yes.
I always ask myself, why would you want to purchase something that you can't afford, especially on credit? Because I just want to come a Billiard in this issue. We're talking about the people. Just to keep up a certain standard of lifestyle.
It happens a lot. Okay, it happens a lot where people just want to maybe compete with other people. That's also one of the reasons, right? But when it comes to Kama Billiard here, he's a celebrity, right? He's a famous person. And I think at that time he could even be able to afford that lifestyle, and he was even paying, right?
Yes.
So we can't really say that at that time he was chasing something that he couldn't afford. He could afford. Unfortunately, circumstances maybe just happened to him, and maybe he failed.
Okay, Noma, this is more of like needs versus want. Did you really need that Range Rover? I mean, you could have purchased something that was much more affordable. Why then try to, about on a loan? And for footballers, Noma.
Look,
Yes.
When he was at Kaizer Chiefs, he used to earn 800,000, rands. Imagine how much that is in United States dollars. So you tell me that with such amount of money, he couldn't be able to actually do that? Of course he could.
No, I'm not.
He could because he had the money,
yes.
right?
We can allege or assume that he was living in high suburbs and like renting an apartment of some sort, which is top tier.
Yeah.
You cover your rentals. You've got kids. They're learning at these A schools, and you also want to purchase a car.
Why not?
Yes, why not? But look at you now. You're running away from your problems.
Of course, unfortunately now, yes, it is that is happening at this moment. But I'm sure he never even envisioned such. He didn't even want it to get to such an extent. And I don't think it's even running away. He's not like he's running away. Or maybe at this time, he just doesn't have the resources to be able to cover up for this.
Okay, and then, a lot of people had their mixed reactions, like we also have said. Why then did they have to drag Kaizer Chiefs' name into it? And then I say it was necessary because we associate him with the clubs that he played for, the big names, so that they can know who he is.
Wow. I don't agree with Rishi, but anyway, there was a time when we talked about someone who's very special when it comes to football, and I quote special. He is very special because at some point he was given special treatment that nobody was even given, and this person is David Beckham. So, after years of uncertainty, David Beckham will finally receive one of the highest honors that the United Kingdom can grant, the title of Sir. This was reported by the Daily Mail, which confirmed that the former footballer will be included in King Charles III's birthday honors list, whose official publication is expected next week. Beckham, who recently celebrated his 50th birthday, surrounded by his family and friends, will see a dream he has long pursued come true. The distinction consecrates him not only as an iconic figure in sports, but also as a cultural ambassador and global reference figure, his wife, a fashion designer and former Spice Girl Victoria Beckham, will be recognized as Lady Beckham, according to traditional British protocol. The news marks a before and after in the life of the former Manchester United player and the English national team, who for decades has been one of the most prominent figures in the public life of the United Kingdom. Now, here's what used to happen. So when they went for some matches or something like that, right? David Beckham wouldn't just sleep in a room, like on a bed.
Yes.
Okay. And that wasn't back in 2006. He wouldn't just go into a hotel room and just sleep just like any other football player. No, it was different for him, okay?
Yes.
They would actually have a tear run off the bed. Is it comfortable enough for him to sleep on it? Yes, that is what happened. Is it comfortable enough for him to sleep on it? And then he could actually sleep there.
You know
if
what?
not, they'll then maybe change or, yeah.
Yeah, it's giving Princess and the Pea kind of vibe, the movie.
It was David Beckham.
But, I mean, it's just a bed.
Oh, it is a bed, but then, you know, everything has to do with his comfort so that he can perform, you know, when he goes on the field. You understand?
I don't get it. I mean, the physique with the other football players were the same. I mean, he is a loved figure, but
this is what happens when you become the captain, one. This is what happens when you are that person who is a star like that.
I want to be
to such an extent. You understand? So yes, now he's now Sir Beckham, and this is some exciting news. And the lady is Lady Beckham. Wow.
Imagine from singing, "If you wanna be my lover," and then now you're her Lady Beckham, recognized. You know what? Kudos to them. They actually deserve it. I personally think that they deserve it, and we'll just see. If only it was in Zimbabwe, maybe we would have a Lady Michelle and a Lady Nomalanga Tembo.
Fantastic! That would be amazing. That would be nice. But please don't forget to send in your comments, your contributions. We always want to hear from you guys. We always want to hear what you think. We always want to hear everything from you. So the number is on the screen. Make sure that you put in your comments there, and we'll definitely read them next week. Yeah, if you have that luck, definitely we'll read them next week. For now, it is a goodbye. It has been amazing being here with you on the Midweek Express. We do hope that you're going to be tuned in again on the next week. Good night.
Good night.